G'day, Mick from Z Grills Australia here. In this video, we're going to look at how to replace an ignition rod or hot rod in a 700 series Z Grill. The first thing you want to do is scoop out and then vacuum out all of the wood pellets inside the hopper. Once you get to the guard, you can remove this temporarily to allow you to get the rest of the pellets out. Ideally, use a magnetic screwdriver like this one so you don't lose them in the pellets. Once you get to the bottom, you can just vacuum those out. Next step is to remove the controller. So we just remove these two screws on the front here. Once the screws are removed, we can gently pull the controller forward, just enough so we can access the inside here to cut a couple of the cable ties, gently, taking care not to cut any of the wires. Once this is done, we can drop the controller back inside, like this, into the case. We can leave it there for the moment. Next, undo these 1, 2, 3 screws, both front and back. We can now drop this bottom cover down and gently push the cable up through this cable gland here. Push it all the way down to the ground. Next, we can take out these 2 front and rear screws, making sure you support the hopper so it doesn't fall off to the side. With the cover off, we can now clearly see the controller, the auger motor, the auger. Underneath here is the fan. We have the temperature probe which runs into the top of the controller here, and our ignition rod cable here. To replace the ignition rod, you need to unplug the HOT hot plug here. Start off by vacuuming out any ash in the fire pipe. We can then go ahead and remove these 4 bolts with a pair of pliers or a socket. To remove the fire pipe, pull to the side, rotate around towards the front, and then you can lift it out. Once you flip it over, we can see the screw here, which we need to undo to release the ignition rod. We can then pull the cable to pull the ignition rod through. Pull the ignition rod through, make sure it's on the front side and not the back side. Then we can slide it back into place. In terms of how far it needs to extend out, we want about the width of your finger, or about 10 to 12 millimeters. Okay, that's perfect. To put back, drop back down, rotate around. And then to push back, we may need to lift it or push it down a little bit to get that lip to sit over the feed pipe. Screws back in. We can now go ahead and connect all of our cables back together to the controller, starting with the blue and brown, which is our black and white power supply in, MOT motor, which goes to our auger motor, FAN fan, which goes to the fan, ignition rod, which is HOT. Make sure that none of these cables are twisted around the power cable here. We can also connect the temperature probe back to the controller. Doesn't matter which way these go, there's no positive or negative. If the fuse had blown on the controller, we can pull this out and we can check the fuse. Just pop it out here, have a look to see if that wire has blown. There's normally some discoloration if there is, and then we can put a new one back inside. We need to bundle these cables up nice and neatly, so start off with one right here, pulling everything together. We can then use the ignition rod as a bit of an anchor over here to bundle these other cables up nice and tightly, because what we want to do is we want to keep them away from the auger motor fan or the fan underneath here. So put a bundle together here and another bundle over here. If you've got some of this spiral plastic, you can wrap this around as well, which helps to keep everything nicely in place. Okay, this is how it should look. So we've got our temperature cable down the side here, nowhere near the fan. Everything's bundled up nice and neatly. Nothing's going to contact the fan on the front here or the fan on the underside. Now everything is nice and neat, we can go ahead and put our cover back on top. When we put the cover back on, make sure this cable is on the inside, not on the outside of this plate here. If you're using an electric drill like this one, make sure you've got it on a low torque setting. I've got mine on about 9. If you use a high torque setting, you'll easily strip the thread on the screws. With the controller out so we can see what's going on inside here, we can now pull our base plate back into position. Just gently pull on this cable as you lift it up, and you better see inside here how much slack is left on the power cable. This edge here has to go on the inside of this side plate here. As you pull it up, lift it up until all of the screws align. Let's put in a couple of screws to secure it in place. We can see through the hole here that everything looks okay, and when we put the controller back into position, nothing's going to be too close to the fan on the front of the auger motor. Now that everything's back together, it's time to test the grill and make sure that your repairs worked. Obviously, we apologise for you having a problem with your grill, but hopefully this video has allowed you to go step by step through and repair it without too many challenges. Let's plug in the grill, open the lids, turn the power on, turn to smoke. Let's look down in here to see if the auger's rotating. Yep. Listen for the fan blowing. Perfect. If we hear a high-speed clicking noise, that would indicate that one of the cables is hitting one of the fans in there, in which case you'd have to unplug the grill, take that bottom cover off and double check those wires. The best way to test if the ignition rod is working is to wait for about 3 or 4 minutes after switching to the smoke setting, and then you can touch it with a piece of paper, and that's what should happen. If the auger tube is empty of pellets, you have to go through the initial startup procedure like you did the first time to prime pellets through into the fire pipe. If you've already got pellets in there, then obviously you can put some more back in the hopper and continue starting up as you normally would.